This video gets me really excited. We're going to talk about how you start your downswing with these hips, but in a totally different way, and nothing that you've seen before on YouTube, because this is going to be dynamic, not like a dot-to-dot golf swing. First things though, that over and off scratch, we just want to make it really clear that we offer golf and fitness together.
Correct. And that's the unique thing about what we do, is that you cannot swing the golf club well without physically being in good condition.
Yeah.
And that's the two areas that we try and cover to make sure that you've got the exercises that are basic, easy, no equipment you can do from home, to make sure you can complete these lessons and improve your golf swing in the way that you want to improve.
Yeah, and the simplest way we'd put it is the fitness accelerates your improvement in your golf swing.
100%.
And that's all we're trying to make you do, improving your golf swing. Right now, if I grab that golf club off you,
Yep.
let's sort of just break down this motion. I think it's important for people to get the understanding of what's physically happening. And then we're going to go through the dynamic drill that I'm going to talk you through. And then that's going to offer you a simple exercise that you can do from home, like we offer an off scratch, to accelerate this improvement. Right now, so if I make a backswing here, what I would say is what I like to see people see in the golf swing is that we create this sort of X factor stretch. So if you can imagine a line through my shoulders and a line through my hips, we get the hips to start moving before the shoulders start moving in a simple way. Now, as I'm doing this, my left hip's getting a little bit higher, my left leg straightening, and the term that you probably heard a lot on YouTube is I'm sort of posting up.
Yep.
And as I come into impact, my hips are open to my shoulder line. Okay, very much sort of in this allows us to gather through. Things that I see is people sort of getting closer, not very open with these hips, and for me it's a lack of understanding, maybe a lack of strength as well. But what would you say physically what's happening there? So if I'm doing that whole motion to everybody here, we're trying to stop this, we're trying to really feel this starts down. I always imagine my belt buckle sort of pointing back towards the guys here watching. What would you say, from your expert point of view, what is happening there?
Yeah, I think this can be quite a confusing area for a lot of golfers. And for me, the main reason is because we've called it that many different things. You're actually not sure what to associate that word with. If I jump in, Alex, and I'll just swap with you. So for me, the easiest way to figure this out is actually just to feel your own hips. You know, most people can grab that's the top of my hip bones here, the top of my pelvis. If I was to set up into my golf posture, your body is built the way it's built. It won't go any other way than where it's designed to biomechanically be. And I think with the golf swing, that's exactly what's happening. It's just the fact that we do it through rotation that confuses everybody. We're not doing it in a straight line. So if I was to grab my hip bones, I turn to my backswing. My left hip is all of a sudden lower than my right hip because my pelvis tilted forwards. So from the side view here, if I go backswing, you can see there's a very shallow sort of dip in my lower back. That's where my pelvis went this way. If it was a bucket of water, all the water would have fallen on the floor here forwards. So there's backswing. If I've gone there, then I have to go the opposite way because I can't go any further this way. So as I start to come into transition, as you're talking about here, that left hip, it starts to pull away a little bit. The club's on its way down. I'm roughly neutral where I started at setup. As I continue, I've hit the shot here, I'm into the follow through. Now I've got the opposite position, right lower than left, and that's because my pelvis tucked under or through the water on me. So they're the positions that physically are happening that we cannot avoid.
No.
So when we're talking about those positions there, Alex, this top of the backswing, for me, I like to think of it as this pelvis pulling sort of up into you, because that's the way it's got to go.
Yeah.
It's just, I think we have to find the correct terminology for people to understand that, because it's happening at speed.
That's the thing, it happens in like, well, for most people, like less than half a second.
Correct.
And then it's very hard to get the realisation of what's actually happening.
Yeah.
But the drill that we've got now, so we've broken down that motion. We know exactly what's happening there from a physical point of view, in the golf swing point of view. But what I'd say to a lot of people is, if you were going to throw a ball, right, you start with your feet together, you take it back, and you step forwards, the hips would go first and then move through. You would do pretty much 95% of what you've just said without even thinking about it.
Correct.
You get the golf club in your hand and you feel you've got to think about everything. So now I'm going to do a few demos here.
Okay.
And then I'm going to get you to stand in and have a go as well.
Okay.
So I like people to use like a bit of a progressive drill. If I sort of imagine we're going to hit this way, is we stand with feet together. I want you to feel as though I'm going to break this down really slowly. We're going to swing the golf club back in one arm, so one-handed. And as my sort of hands pass my sort of logo here on my chest, or sort of around chest height, I'm going to step forwards and allow my belt buckle just to ride through before my hands get to the top. That's the idea. So you don't have to do this fast. But what I'm trying to do is saying, make this more dynamic than you're doing right now, because you'll do most of this already. It's just about training the right sequence. So watch me closely here now. I'm going to step through. Okay, well that feels a little bit more dynamic. I'm definitely not doing that. Okay, step, slow, through. So all I imagine in my golf swing is simply that I'm trying to throw something.
Exactly, and I think regardless of your ability level as a golfer, how fast you can swing it, how good you are, this part of the golf swing should always be physical, because this is where we generate all the speed, all the strike through the ball,
sure.
and the consistency of shot that you're going to see every time you hit a shot.
Exactly, then the progression of this is put both hands on, start feet together, step through. And that step allows you to sort of gather that momentum through that golf swing. And I think when we don't have any momentum that way, very hard to open up. So as a realization of what I feel as I'm stepping, my momentum's like up and around.
Yeah.
If you want to take it a step further, we can stand and hit this one. So we step to line that ball inside our left heel there. So like this, step and through. I don't care where the ball goes. What I'm getting you to do is just get that realization of how we open up.
Yeah, and I think actually other sports are really good examples of this.
Tennis?
You know, tennis, you look at every forehand, there's a step, there's a rotation, the hips play a huge role. Even down to things like athletics, like the discus, if you remember doing that in school. You can't throw it like this. You know, you have to really, and you've got to launch it to get all that speed and all that distance.
And what we're saying here is you do this with a bit of rhythm, a bit of realization that it's not a static thing, it's a fluid thing, and this is how we're trying to do it. You will be a lot more relaxed and you'll start to do this motion better. Right, now I want you to have a quick go for me. So club in one hand first.
Right, I'm going to put a glove on just because
far away.
Being the professional that I am.
Put this in your right hand. Don't have to hit one, just want you to have a quick go at this. So start with the feet together.
Okay.
So the idea is you're trying to feel as though you step out as your hands this way. You're going to step to your left as your hands move back.
So I'm coming.
So start with the feet together, you're going to step to your left.
Ah, okay, got you. So here.
Yeah, perfect. Fab. Because again, if you were static, you couldn't do that.
No, and actually you really have to load that left side to get the club through.
Sure,
here.
and this is, yes, quite extreme, but this is what we want to do. We want to make some changes in your swing. So that's what I'm recommending from a goal point of view. Start one-handed, two-handed, and then if you're comfortable, hit some shots away. Now, from your perspective, how can we accelerate this? How can we make this happen better? How can we, I mean, from my golf knowledge, people with weak glutes, people with tight hamstrings, all these areas, it's very, very hard, even poor ankle mobility, they find it hard to open up through the golf ball. So what's the biggest bang for our buck exercise that people can do?
Okay, in my opinion, the biggest bang for your buck that golfers can do is to strengthen the glutes here first. Because if we think about, again, looking down the line here, it's this area that is preventing me from thrusting forwards at impact. And if you're thrusting forwards, we're never going to get that left side lead loading position. Maybe 1 out of 10 balls, but you're not going to do it on a consistent basis.
No.
So one of the exercises that we've used is the glute bridge down on the floor. And if you've got a wall, even better. You're going to place your foot on the wall and you're just literally going to bridge up single leg. It opens up the hip, so it extends the hip line here, and in order to do that, the glute must contract and squeeze.
Perfect.
And that's a simple exercise. You know, you could literally put your foot on the buggy over here.
I mean, you can see it on the screen here now, Natalie demonstrating this in the gym, but you can do this at home. Don't choose your white wall with your shoes on, but, but definitely something you can get the biggest bang for your buck. Feeling the glutes a little bit stronger is going to help you backswing, downswing, more power, and overall we're going to help accelerate that improvement in your golf swing. So remember, keep it simple, keep it dynamic, use the exercises to aid that improvement, and we look forward to seeing you smashing it down that fairway much further.